thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again, you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Well, last time we left Rocky, he was on the small end of a large missile headed up, up, and away. He was really trying to recapture 10 floating trucks full of that anti-gravity metal, Upsidasium. But his plans went awry when the missile began to swing off course.
Yeah, I wonder what could have gone wrong.
Now that missile is headed right for Washington.
Oh, he's not going to like that a bit.
This is General Broadbeam calling Rocky. Come in, Rocky.
Hello, Broadbeam.
Call me General.
Yes, sir.
Now hear this. Get off the missile. We must destroy it in 30 seconds.
But I'm not high enough to reach the truck.
The missile is off course. It's headed for Washington. 15 seconds to destruct. Rocky, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to fix it.
And the plucky squirrel worked feverishly on the controls of the speeding missile.
10 seconds.
Come on, Rocky.
Then slowly the missile changed its angle.
5, 4, 3, 2.
He's on course.
He made it.
Hooray!
Phooey.
A few seconds later, the missile had reached its highest point, and Rocky launched himself into the rarefied air. Quickly, he zoomed after the floating trucks, and with lightning speed and a handy length of rope, he began to tie them together.
Well, he's got them together, but how'll he ever get them down?
You just leave that to my pal. He's the brains of the outfit.
What does that make you?
What else? A executive.
Meanwhile, high above, Rocky had finished tying the trucks into one big traffic jam in the sky.
Now if I can just get the last truck to work.
Sure enough, as Rocky raced the engine of the truck, the exhaust acted like a tiny jet, and the string of trucks began to move downward. As the trucks came lower and lower, victory seemed within easy reach. But suddenly...
Hokey smoke, I'm out of gas.
And without the truck exhaust to push them earthward, the trucks full of Upsidasium began to drift skyward again.
Bullwinkle.
Let him go, Rock. No use making a federal case out of it.
But it already is a federal case.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what do we do?
Tie a heavy rope to a rock, Bullwinkle.
Got it. Now what?
Throw the rock over the trucks, quick.
Nonsense. Nobody can throw a rock that far.
I'll have you know you are speaking to the winner of the Frostbite Falls annual rock chunking contest.
Oh.
Of course, this isn't the annual rock, but here goes.
And the mighty moose chunked the rock high into the air. Up it went, trailing a heavy rope behind it. Over the trucks it flew and down on the other side. In a flash, the rope was seized by the alert ground crew of the missile, who then proceeded to haul the trucks down out of the sky.
Good throwing, Bullwinkle.
Oh, that was nothing. You want to see my slow curve.
But I can't understand why that missile went off course.
General Broadbean didn't have to wait long to find out.
General, sir, the missile control rear flabbers has been sabotaged.
Sabotaged? How can you tell?
Because the differential feedback response is negative.
Yes?
The molecular orbit is out of phase with the thermocouple.
Yes?
And besides, it has this monkey wrench in it.
Good thinking, Ormsby.
That's done.
Yeah, who could have done did it?
Do you have anybody new working here?
Just one man, Private.
Too late, for that particular private had just gone AWOL.
After him!
Well, will Boris escape again? And what has become of Mr. Big?
Oh, don't worry. I'm stealing the plot.
Be sure to see our next episode, The Spellbounders, or Hex Marks the Spot.
Well, Pop, how do you like it?
I think it's great, son. What is it?
You mean you don't recognize it?
In a word, no. In 2 words, no, no.
Well, I'm surprised you don't recognize a Terwilliger fly-snapping claptrapper.
Oh, my, I'm surprised you can even say it. Just what is a Terwilliger, whatever it is you said?
Well, it's an invention for killing flies. You see that pie?
Uh-huh.
Well, all a fly has to do is land on it. See, that's when you pull this lever. That starts a chain reaction, and eventually the boxing glove clobbers the fly on the pie. Hey, there's one now. Watch closely, Pop. Of course, it needs a little work.
Junior, how many times have I told you anything that's worth doing is worth doing well? Which doesn't remind me of a fable, but I'll tell you one anyway. This is the story of the cat and 15 mice. Once there were 15 mice who lived in an old shoe. Not only did they live in the old shoe, but they ate there, worked there, and even voted there. The reason for this was that the immediate neighborhood was the winter playground of a particularly tough tomcat. Like all tomcats, or Harry and Dick cats for that matter, he was on an eternal prowl for mice. And sooner or later, he would get around to investigating the old shoe.
All right, you guys heard what Aesop just said. One of these days, that cat is gonna walk in here and...
Don't say it. You know I got a weak stomach.
All mice has got weak stomachs. It's part of our heritage. But we ain't got weak heads, except for Mo here. Now, I propose we move.
To Disneyland.
That's no good. Cousin Mickey's got that spot sewed up.
Where else can we go?
Hey, how about the old lighthouse?
The decision was unanimous, and that afternoon, the 15 mice looked their new house over.
Well, men, this is it. Home.
Say, this is the cat's pop.
The first thing they did, being fastidious mice, was to sweep the lighthouse from top to bottom. However, this took them so long that they were only halfway through when daylight waned.
You hear what Aesop just said? He said the daylight's waned.
So, let it wane. Find a lamp and turn it on.
The lamp Mo turned on was a bright one.
Must be one of those 60-watt bulbs.
Although the light benefited the mice, it did just the opposite for the cat, who was desperately attempting to catnap on shore.
You can't even get 40 winks around here without some joker leaving his flashlight burning. I'll give him what for I will. Must have rained last night.
Like most cats in my fables, this one also had an overabundance of cunning.
You're darn right I have. I know there are 15 mice out there in that lighthouse.
Alas, his plan to sneak up on them in the dark didn't work, for without warning, the lighthouse beacon suddenly fell on the road.
Huh? They'll spot me for sure. Oh, well, it don't matter.
Grabbing a battle axe, he stepped onto the beam and marched upward toward his target. Meanwhile, inside the target, the mice had decided to call it a day.
Turn the lamp off, Mo.
The following day, the 15 mice picked up where they left off, and so did the cat.
There's more than one way for a cat to skin a mouse.
Look, Manny, a shipwrecked sailor.
That ain't no shipwrecked sailor.
Florence Chadwick?
That is a shipwrecked cat. Give him a hand.
Atta way to go, cat baby! Atta way to do it!
Not that kind of a hand. Throw him a rope.
It was a rope, all right, with an anvil attached.
Is he all right?
Sure, he's all right. He just got a little concussion is all.
Hey, where am I?
You are at the lighthouse.
That was all the cat had to hear. Overjoyed at the prospect of a 15-course dinner, he took off in hot pursuit to hobble. Those mice were fast, and they knew the interior of the lighthouse like the back of their paws. For 1 solid hour, that cat chased in vain. That is, until he spotted Mo standing before a door labeled Delivery Room.
Aha! Gotcha!
Congratulations, Pussy.
For what?
You are the proud father of a 2-pound sassy kitten. Have a cigar.
What do you know about that? What a surprise.
A bigger one followed. Well, sir, that tomcat had it. He wasted little time in leaving that neighborhood. What's more, so did every cat that ever came near the lighthouse. And to make it worse, those mice came ashore and set up pieces of chrome all over. And at night, the beacon would reflect all over the place and drive the cats wild. So you see, Junior, anything that's worth doing is worth doing well. But as usual, I suppose you have a moral of your own?
I sure do. You think you can stomach it?
Well, try me.
Chrome wasn't built in a day.
Chrome would...
And here he is, the Dean of American Numbskulls, Mr. Know-It-All.
Our lecture today is entitled How to Own a Hi-Fi on a Low Income and IQ. First, you should choose a hi-fi cabinet to match your furniture. Early American, French provincial, or, like my own furniture, early junkyard. Next, we have a few of our components. This is the amplifier, which amplifies the sound. Here is the preamplifier, which, of course, amplifies the pre. And the turntable, which turns the tables. Over here, we see the speakers, known to all of us hi-fi-matics as the tweeter and the woofer. Special care must be taken to feed the woofer lest he eat the tweeter. The next step is to plug it in. And the next step is to call the electrician. The hi-fi gives us lovely music, but did you know that you can tell time with it, too?
Shutting that thing off is 2 a.m.
Thank you. Now I'd like to play some tapes for you. Must have put some Scotch tape on by mistake. But here's my real favorite. Sing along with Lawrence Elk. A do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I bring my favorite tape, Bullwinkle.
Be my guest. Put it on.
Is adhesive tape.
Well, thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. And now it's time
for 5 or 6 baritone solos in the key of E.
But...
Ooh.
Now for another of our special features.
Should have tried E flat.
Peabody here, along with Sherman and my incomparable invention, the Wayback Machine. Set the indicator for the year 1513. Our target is the Isthmus of Darien.
Huh?
Oh, we know it now as the Isthmus of Panama.
Oh.
And today we shall witness an earth-shaking discovery. Can you guess what it is?
I sure can. The discovery of the first Panama hat.
That is next week, Sherman. Today, it's the discovery of the Pacific Ocean, and we'll be in the company of that great Spanish explorer, Vasco Nunez de Balboa. The Wayback wasted little time in depositing us in a small jungle clearing, and there, ankle-deep in a mud puddle, stood Balboa.
In the name of His Majesty the King, I christen you the Pacific Ocean.
I beg your pardon, Senor Balboa, but you've made a mistake.
Ah, the salty tang of the sea, the sound of the abalone as they fly overhead.
You are standing in a puddle, Senor.
The crashing of the waves and... pardon?
Mud puddle, Mr. Balboa.
This is not the Pacific?
I'm afraid not, sir. The Pacific Ocean is that way.
Oh, muchas gracias, amigos.
And with that, Balboa marched off into a pit of quicksand.
This is it! This is the Pacific! I'd not descend the beach anywhere.
Mr. Balboa, you're sinking.
It's just the tide going out, I think.
Balboa sank rapidly. If it hadn't been for the frond of a nearby palm tree, we might have had a disaster on our hands.
Boy, that was some riptide.
But that wasn't the Pacific.
No, Lake Erie then. Hudson's Bay.
It was obvious that Senor Balboa needed medical attention, and so the following morning we entered Panama City and sought out the nearest eye doctor.
This is all very interesting. Yes, I'm afraid they will have to come out.
His eyes?
Oh, no, his teeth. You see, he has an eye tooth that has 20/20 vision, but he has very little wisdom in it.
What now, Mr. Peabody?
Well, Sherman, history books state that Balboa discovered the Pacific, and that's the way it has to be. I'm afraid it's up to us to see that he does discover it. Within an hour, we were at the city limits.
Stop, senors. No one is allowed to leave the city.
Move aside, soldier. I'm on my way to discover the Pacific.
Sorry, senor, but the governor has closed the city until the plans are found.
Plans? What plans?
The plans for the Panama Canal.
Having no alternative, we hurried to the governor's palace. We found His Eminence relaxing in a tub of hot water.
In the name of His Majesty the King, I christen you the Pacific.
No, not yet, Balboa. I'll tell you when. Governor, we must leave Panama.
No one leaves Panama until the plans are recovered.
Oh, very well. Supposing I give you a new set of plans, will you let us leave then?
That depends on the plans.
We adjourned to a room containing a large map. I handed the governor a shovel and said, "Start digging here and finish there."
Brilliant! A brilliant plan!
But, Mr. Peabody, Theodore Roosevelt helped build the canal in 1903.
Don't worry, Sherman. By the time the governor finishes digging with one shovel, Teddy will be there.
Here are your passes, senor.
Unfortunately, they weren't passes to exit the city, but passes to a neighborhood movie. However, not one to look a gift governor in the mouth, we sat through a Bob Steele Western and then began our journey. 3 weeks later, after fighting our way through the jungle, we broke through onto the beach.
Oh, boy, I think I smell a river.
It's the ocean, Mr. Balboa, the Pacific. Now you can discover it.
Now, Senor Peabody.
Now, Senor Balboa.
In the name of His Majesty the King, I christen you...
Just a moment there. You can't discover the Pacific. I already have.
Oh, my gosh, another explorer.
Sir Augustus Coney is my name. I discovered this ocean last night. You chaps are tardy, you know.
Sir Augustus, if Balboa doesn't get credit for this discovery, it will ruin, literally ruin, millions of history books.
I should care.
Supposing I showed you where to find a piece of land that you could not only discover, but could even name it after yourself.
I say, that would be jolly.
I drew a map, and Sir Augustus Coney departed.
But what did he ever discover, Mr. Peabody?
Oh, come, Sherman. You mean you've never heard of Coney Island?
Last time you remember, Rocky was almost blown up on purpose when a missile on which he was riding was sabotaged by some unknown person.
Unknown? Allow me to present my card.
Yes, of course, Boris Badenov was at the bottom of the whole thing.
Isn't he always?
But Rocky soon straightened out the missile and recovered the trucks full of Upsidasium. Then one of the sergeants discovered Boris's subtle form of sabotage.
A monkey wrench.
And Boris fled for his life.
After him!
With our friends hot on his heels, the harried villain ducked through a nearby door and slammed it behind him.
Well, Boris?
Who's there? Oh, is you Mr. Big Old Bossman, sir?
Of course. Well, Badenov, you have failed again and again and again.
Look at it this way, Chief. I'm consistent.
You are a bungler. You have no brain.
Yes, boss.
Now we're trapped in this room. How are we to escape?
I tell you what. You use brain. I bungle my way out.
He ducked into this supply room, Bullwinkle.
Is he still there?
I can hear somebody breathing.
Well, that may be me. I often do that.
Shh! Somebody's coming.
Get ready.
Ah, good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, General. Gee, that looked like...
What does that sign say, Rock?
Out to lunch. I shall return.
Hey, no.
But I still hear somebody breathing.
Well, I'm still at it, you know.
Let's see who it is.
And as our boys threw open the door, a sinister voice said...
Come in, gentlemen. I've been expecting you.
Well, that's mighty nice of... Hey, Rock, there's nobody here.
No, Oh, then what's making that shadow on the wall?
You mean the one pointing that revolver at us?
Yeah, that's the one.
Hokey smoke, to coin a phrase. Our boys have been captured by Mr. Big himself. Meanwhile, back in the hallway...
Search every nook and cranny. He mustn't get away. Good evening, General. Good evening, General. Cover that area so that... Hey, now, just a minute. I'm the only general around here. Stop him. Stop that man. Stop him. Stop that man. He's an imposter. An imposter. Don't just stand there, you idiots. Arrest him. Don't just stand there, idiots. Arrest him. Which one do you believe, Chauncey?
The little one.
Why?
He has 6 stars.
I've got 6 stars. Yes, but yours don't lie that.
And so the two soldiers seized the real general and bundled him off to the brig.
Boris, darling, is that you?
Natasha, who boy? We're in Cloversville, honey bun. They think I'm real general.
Oh, good. Let's go, darling.
Go when I can give orders instead of taking them? Don't be silly. All right, you men. Attention. Right face, left face, right face.
And Boris, crazed with power, began to march the entire garrison back and forth. Back in the gloomy supply room, Rocky and Bullwinkle were still facing the menacing shadow of Mr. Big.
Well, gentlemen, you seem to have stumbled into my hiding place.
We'd be happy to stumble out again.
Impossible.
What are you going to do with us?
The only thing I can think of is to eliminate you.
There must be something else.
Silence.
Bullwinkle.
What is it, Rock?
We only have one chance to get out of here.
That's a little better than I figured.
We gotta rush him.
Rush him? I can't even see him.
The light's coming from behind those boxes. He must be there.
But look at the size of him.
It's our only hope.
What's all that whispering there?
You hit him high and I'll hit him low.
Very well. You asked for...
Go, Bullwinkle!
And our heroes launched themselves directly at their adversary. What will be the outcome of this titanic struggle? We'll find out next time in Battle of the Giants, or It Takes Two to Tango.
It looks as if our time has just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.